What's up, guys? So Blood Hunt #1 came out last week on May 1st to much fanfare. I thought this was fantastic. It is now a week later, and we are starting to get into the first batch of tie-ins for this event. This week, coming out on May 8th, there are 6 different tie-ins. I've read them all, and I thought I would run through them just super quick just to let you know which ones I thought are a little bit more important to the overall story and which ones maybe aren't so important to the main story, just in case it might help you decide which ones of these to get. Now guys, I will try to get through this as quickly as possible, but there are 6 books here, so just bear with me. This video might run a little bit longer than usual. So I'm going to do this in order of importance, and I'm going to start with Doctor Strange number 15. I highly recommend picking this one up if you can. This feels like Blood Hunt Part 1.5. If you were shocked by the last page or two of Blood Hunt #1 and want to know what happens next, this is what happens next. This picks up right from that very last page. Now, I want to be careful and not spoil the end of Blood Hunt #1, just in case you haven't read it yet, but I will say that this issue involves a lot of action between Clea and the person who is responsible for this whole thing, and we learn what her plan is to try to fix this whole situation. I don't want to say too much, but I will say that it involves the Darkhold. Next is Strange Academy #1. Now, I feel like this could be a little bit important to the overall story because I mentioned the Darkhold a second ago, and this book also features the Darkhold. The Strange Academy kids overhear what the plan is going to be and that the Darkhold is needed, and they decide to go out and try to get it themselves. I do think this is the first appearance of a new Strange Academy student named Pia. I'm not 100% sure on that. I've never seen her anywhere before. But yeah, I feel like this could end up being pretty important to the overall story as well. Next is Dracula Blood Hunt #1. Now, this features Dracula and Bloodline, Blade's daughter. Dracula is king of the vampires, but all of the vampires that are terrorizing the world right now, they are part of a different group of vampires. And in this one, we see Dracula taking some of them on. He also reveals that he has a plan himself for how to fix this whole situation, and it does involve Bloodline, but I don't know what that plan is yet. They do wind up in front of the Sanctum Sanctorum, but I don't know yet how much they will integrate themselves with Doctor Strange and everything else that's going on at the Sanctum Sanctorum. So only time will tell, but I feel like this could be slightly impactful to the overall story, but it also might not be. We're going to need another issue or two to figure that out. Next is Avengers #14. This features Captain America pulling together Hercules and Quicksilver and Kate Bishop and Hazmat to deal with the threat on the ground in New York. I don't feel like this is going to inject a lot into the main Blood Hunt story. This seems like it's going to tell its own story, what these characters are doing during this big crisis. But I will say, I recommend picking it up for no other reason than this was an awesome, awesome issue. Full of action. The artwork is fantastic, and Hercules and Hazmat are my new favorite duo in comics. They pull off some really cool moves and have some really funny quips in this. I really enjoyed this, even though it doesn't seem like it's going to inject a lot into the main story. I just thought this one was really great, and if you can swing it, or if you're looking for some of the best Blood Hunt tie-ins to get, I recommend this one. Next is Blood Hunters #1. This is actually an anthology book. Each issue is going to feature 3 different stories. The first 2 stories in each book are short one-and-done stories, and then the third story is going to continue throughout each issue. The first story features Hawkeye. What is he doing during this whole thing? The second story features J. Jonah Jameson and his son John Jameson, aka Manwolf. What are they doing during this whole thing? And those stories don't really add anything at all to the overall main story. So if you skip those 2, you're not really going to miss much. The third story features Dagger taking on some vampires, which is really cool. And another character pops up near the end. I don't feel like the situation that they're going to find themselves in will add a lot to the main story either. It's a decent book, but I don't feel like you will miss a lot if you skip it. And then the last one is Venom #33. This barely ties into Blood Hunt at all. I haven't been keeping up with the Venom book, so I didn't understand a lot of what was going on in here, but what I did read, I didn't really enjoy. I think they're making Venom way too complicated. There's mention of the skies going dark and the vampires, but there's not really much else. So unless you're reading Venom, in which case you would want to get this, if you're just trying to get all of the most important tie-ins, you're definitely safe to skip this one. And that's it, guys. Sorry for the longer video, but I just wanted to give you the best information possible in as short of a time frame as possible, just to let you know which books I feel are important and which aren't. Let me know if you have any other questions that I can answer without spoiling anything. But yeah, hopefully this helps, and I will be sure to do this very same thing next week as well.